For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So do you have the Olympic fever? You know, the big events, or the big event, men's hockey, let's be honest, that's at least what Canadians, apparently, I'm not being sexist, this is what I'm told. And I can tell you that I watched the women's gold medal hockey game on, what night was that? Wednesday night. And I can tell you that the arena, the stands, the seating area, was pretty much like almost empty. I even tweeted that it's like they sold dozens of tickets to this event. Now, I ended up asking people, hockey fans, the next day because I'm Canadian. I said, what's the deal with that? Like, why wasn't there anybody there? And both men and women said that women's hockey is not exciting. And I thought, this is an interesting discussion topic I would like to pose to you, the listener of our podcast here, is, are there certain sports that you prefer to watch one gender over another? So my example would be men's hockey. Is that more interesting to watch? As opposed to, women perhaps playing tennis or volleyball or something. And I'm not even talking sexual or, anything to like gawk at bodies or anything like that. But is there a sport that you prefer watching one gender over another? Send me an email. I swear to you, I'm not a sports person, so for me, I hadn't even thought of something like this. But send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Now, the cool thing about watching the women's hockey game, and I made a comment too, that I'm usually in bed by like 11 o'clock, so the fact that the game started, I think it was 10 o'clock local time, or after 10 o'clock already, and then it went into overtime, and then there were the shootouts, and, the game ended after like 1 o'clock in the morning. But there's just something patriotic about watching it, I have to say. Like I said, I can't say that I know nothing about hockey because I understand the point of the game, right? You go back and forth on the ice and you shoot the puck into the net. But I certainly don't remember, like, one play over another. Like, I wasn't the person coming into the office the next day going, oh yeah, in the second period when she did da-da-da-da-da. Because I don't know. I can't tell you what the moves were or what happened. But I watched the game. And again, there's just something very patriotic that you feel, even though you know nothing about these. I couldn't tell you one of the names of the players even. Like, I just don't know. Even watching the game. Okay, this is where I really sound bad. But even watching the game for the 3 hours or whatever it was, I didn't learn any of the names. I was just kind of watching it. I was just overseeing it. I kind of felt like when my friend was in town from Brazil over Christmas, and we went and watched my nephew's hockey game. This was the first time that my Brazilian friend, first of all, had seen snow, and second, gone to a hockey game. And he was just fascinated by it. So he didn't even really know what he was watching. He was kind of just intrigued by it. And so, I've obviously seen my brothers played hockey, and my nephews and my niece play hockey. So it's not like I've never seen a game before, but again, I'm just watching it for the sake of watching it because I'm Canadian and that's our team. I'm also not one of those people who says our, oh yeah, or we, right? Oh yeah, we had the puck that, and oh yeah, we scored twice. We didn't do anything. We were sitting at home watching and eating chips and having a beer. That's what we were doing. Don't say we. But it's our team. It's the Canadian team. And nevertheless, they got the silver medal. And I think I've said on this show a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was last week, where, silver's great. Like, what's so wrong with that? But apparently you don't train and you don't compete to come in second place because that's just as bad as losing. That's what people tell me. And then there was that one player who took off her silver medal, and the cameras just sort of caught that right at the end after it was put around her neck by the person handing out the medals. She then took it off, and that caused a bit of an uproar. People were not very happy about something like that. So, again, I'm sure it's depressing if you didn't win the game, but it was a nail-biter, I've got to say. For somebody like me who doesn't watch hockey or really sports in general, the fact that it was tied, and then it goes into overtime, and then there's a shootout, so it's taking even longer. It was just very exciting to me. I don't know. I thought it was great. Anyway, send me an email, live@jbonair.com. We're also going to talk relationships coming up a little bit later in the show, and even more chatter on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on top of the charts, and we are... no, this is not. I'm sorry. What show is this? Oh, my God. Have I done that before? I don't think I've done that on this show before. All right, top of the charts is our syndicated radio show. It's a top 40 music show. This is the Scribble podcast that you're tuned into. Whoa, that was crazy. Okay, let me start again. You're tuned into the podcast. It's thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. You know what? You know how many shows that I host? I host Top of the Charts, our Top 40 show, The Open Road with Jeremy Bradley, a country music show, Entertainment Wrap-Up, which is a daily entertainment headline show, and this podcast. Cut me some slack. There are some days. See, now I'm going on a rant. I'm ready for this one, you guys. Have a seat. Get ready for this rant. There are some days, I will tell you, that we tape at least 4 radio shows. We will do 2 Top of the Charts and 2 Open Roads, because maybe I'm traveling next week or whatever it is. So those are 2-hour shows. So I might end up doing 4 radio shows, 8 hours of programming. Now, it doesn't take 8 hours. I'll just sometimes voice the segments and that's it. But I've got to remember that it's next Monday when I'm taping it, and it's Sunday today, so it's a week and, a day or two. And then we might do, when we first started doing this podcast, we would actually do 4 weeks at a time. So we would bank them. We would only tape the podcast once a month, or depending on how the calendar falls, maybe, we would do 5 shows or whatever it is. And then we would bank them. So April 1st comes around and it's a Friday. We bang these shows out and then don't have to worry about it until May. And then we do another group of them, and then we're done. Now we're doing the podcast every week just because there's things that happen in the news, and we want to talk about current events and pop culture and things like that. So there used to be a time when I would end up doing 4 radio shows, 4 podcasts, some entertainment headlines, and write 2 newspaper columns. You can imagine how confusing it is because, again, you're pre-taping a podcast that's airing in 3 weeks, so you're thinking, okay, it's now the end of April. What has happened? Did Easter happen? Okay, let's think about this. And then you're taping music shows, and you're trying to remember which celebrity guest you have and what's going on. So, you know what? Cut me some slack. And this actually happened. Let me tell this story quickly. We've got time, yeah. We were doing a travel show, and we were in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I was feeling dehydrated. I had a very long walk in the morning. And oftentimes the tourism board, it's usually the tourism board, will either arrange a car or they will drive me themselves or they'll give you Uber or taxi, whatever it is, to get you from place to place. Well, I was going to a location from my hotel. I was walking, and the hotel had told me, they printed out a map and said it's really only like a 15-minute walk. Well, they printed the map for driving. And I mentioned that I was walking, but they printed the instructions for driving. So driving sometimes could either be quicker or can be longer, right? If you have, let's say, one-way streets that you can't drive down, but I could walk down because the sidewalk, is not one way, the street is, then I could get there quicker. So it was very humid. It was very hot. It was middle to end of July, and I'm sweating buckets. The humidity was ridiculous. And again, I'm thinking not even 15-minute walk. No, I'm going crazy long way. They said there was kind of a shortcut that had like paths and a bridge or whatever. No, I'm walking down like the busy street and going over 2 bridges. So by the time I get to the place, I am, again, if it was like I was having a hot flash or I was crying, like the sweat was literally dripping down my head. Like I almost needed a towel just to dry off. And then we were at the zoo. And then I'm walking around the zoo for 2 hours. And I didn't think to bring a water bottle or anything. And I'm a very big water drinker. There's at least always a coffee cup of water and a bottle of water near me when I'm here. And so when we're off on location, that's also something that I kind of carry around with me, is a water bottle. If not, there's some in the car or, So I didn't have water after this very long walk. We were walking around the zoo for 2 hours. And then then this time the tourism person had picked me up and we went to the next location and we taped a segment there. So I was going on probably 4 or 5 hours of heat and sweat and dehydration. And then we were at this next excursion and we just started taping a segment. And you know how, I won't say that it was heat stroke because that seems to be like a clinical thing and I don't know for sure that it was. But I'd never felt that way, where I just kind of felt like I didn't know what I was saying, so almost like I was having a stroke, not necessarily heat stroke. And we were just about to introduce the segment, and I said, we're back here in Indiana, right? And it was so embarrassing, because then you got these tourism people here from Indianapolis who bring you, and I was at least in the right state. I didn't say Louisiana, right? So I said Indiana, and we were Indianapolis. But for this brief moment, I was almost like in a panic because I thought, that's really embarrassing. Like, for a brief moment, I forgot, well, I guess I forgot the name of the city. I said the state instead of the city, but I could really tell that I was dehydrated. And I had never felt that way before because, again, I'm always very well watered. But it was ridiculous. And then we ended up going for lunch after that. And I'm offered a glass of wine, do you want to have this, do you want to have that, whatever. And I said, just bring me glasses of water. And sure enough, by the time she brought, the server brought our waters and then either came back to take our food orders, whatever, I already needed another glass of water. Or actually, I think she came to just check on if we knew what we wanted yet, and I didn't. So at that one sitting for lunch, I probably had, I swear to you, at least 7 or 8 glasses of water. I just needed that much. And you'd think that after having all that, you'd be peeing like crazy. No, that's how much my body needed it. It was just soaking it up, and yeah, I needed all that water. So that day I kind of got a pass because I said, you know what, you guys, I haven't had anything to drink, and I've been going in the sun, and we've been doing this. I'm falling. Like, I need some stuff in my system, whether it's food, water, whatever. Just help me out here. So I'm thinking that maybe it was close to heat stroke. But again, I think that heat stroke, not that I look up the symptoms online because I'm not one of those people. But, I wasn't dizzy, I didn't have a headache, there was none of that going on. I just kind of felt like I was sort of mumbly, and the fact that I was having a hard time speaking, not speaking in terms of like slurring my words, but just making sense of my thoughts that I was speaking. And I guess that happens to the best of us sometimes, and you could also just say that you're tired. But certainly I was affected, I believe, by the heat and not having water. So as much as you can just brush it off, and when they tell you on hot days to keep drinking water, like, I really did feel it. Now, again, thankfully I wasn't, hospitalized. It wasn't anything serious like that. But definitely, for me, always treating my body to water, like, that's where, this was the body's way of saying, like, whoa, hey, feed me, water me, drink, have something. Do this, do yourself a favor. So yeah, it was a weird moment.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com. for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the show. All right, talking about relationships, and we're going to go to the phones right now. We've got, I see here, Lisa. She's from, my hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. She's married and 42 years old. Lisa, hello, you're on the air. All right, thanks for calling in today. So we're talking relationships. Let's start at the very beginning, though. How soon is too soon for moving in with somebody? Let's say you've had 5 really good dates. Is that too soon to move in with the person?
That's way too soon.
Okay, so
what did you do and these dates? What did they entail?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. So what's the time frame? How do you judge it? I said that you're married. So, you're going on a couple of dates, you're having a good time. Maybe you spend a weekend together first. What's the moving in time period? 6 months, 3 months, a year?
I would say at least maybe half a year to a year.
How do you know it's the right time?
The right time?
Yeah.
It just feels right.
Okay. What if you don't live in the same city and the person, maybe they fly all the way across the country and you spend like a week together and you have a great time, they've got to go back home and you think, you know what, I can't do the long distance thing. Mm-hmm. We have to live together. We have to live together to make this work. Would you do it?
Well, it would depend how much I feel for the person and if I knew what their intentions were. You'd be able to feel that out in that week, if they're just trying to move in on you and move in on your life, or if they're just trying to find a free ticket somewhere.
What signals would they give you
Another
to...
country.
Okay, so tell me about their intentions. What indicators would there be?
Well, if this person is not established, maybe lives at home and, has no real career or has any future for themselves, and they're just looking for an opportunity to maybe find somebody that can do that for them, then I think a week is too soon, because if that person isn't established, then if I were the one taking the person into the house, in the beginning, I would feel like this person is just trying to find a free ticket.
What if they say, I can't do the long distance thing, we just need to be together? What would you say?
Well, I would ask him why, and ask him, what is it about me that wants you to, that makes you want to be with me and live with me? Like, it would be up to that person to show and convince me that they're worth, moving into my home and taking them into my home, if that's the question.
So it sounds like you're one of those people who thinks, it's too good to be true. I got to ask some questions here. I've got to find out.
I would absolutely be skeptical in the beginning.
Okay. So in your relationship then, I said you're married now. How long have you been married?
15 years.
Okay. When did you move in? What's your story?
It was after a year of dating. After a year of dating, we moved in together. We lived together for a year, and we got engaged after a year of living together. And then we were engaged for a year planning the wedding, and the rest is history.
History it is.
Wedding
Now that's the key word, history. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about when the relationship is history, though, because everybody deals with breakups a different way, and I'll get your advice on how to deal with a breakup. More with Lisa right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the show, talking with Lisa. It's like we're brother and sister. She's from my hometown, married 15 years. She's 42 years old, calling in. In the last segment we were talking about relationships and when you get together. What happens, though, when it's over. It's done. The relationship is over. Nowadays, there's so many reminders, whether it's social media, maybe it's selfies on your phone, maybe when you go grocery shopping, you always used to get the same food and you cooked it, or there was a song on the radio. I apologize if we've played any of those on our show today. But how do you deal with a breakup? So Lisa, let's talk about that. You break up, the relationship is over, it's done. What's the first thing you do?
Well, from my experience, I just cut all ties. I don't let feelings linger. If they're not there, if it's over, and that's it.
What about somebody who's got all of these pictures and selfies on their phone? Is it okay just to keep one?
You delete them.
You delete all of them? Do you keep one, though? Maybe just one where you look really good? Maybe that's the one that you keep, is where you look
Then
good.
I would crop him out.
That's very shallow and vain of you. I love it. But
Well, it's true. It's not about him anymore. It's about it's about me.
Okay, so what about the things around the house, though? Like, maybe you both, maybe, I don't even know. Maybe there's an object in the house that you both just, like, loved, or that he bought for... Maybe he bought it for you, but you love it. Do you get rid of it? Do you keep it? What do you do?
Depends what it is, and if it's of value, I would get rid of it. But if it was jewelry,
of course.
then I would exchange it for something better. Like, diamonds are forever, and I would either get the gold melted and keep the diamond and make it something new and different, new beginnings.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So, in the last segment, we talked about moving in together, and now we're talking about breakups. But what happens if over the course of the relationship, you two get a pet? You have a dog together. When we had Dr. Karen Anderson on our show, this is going back many months, she told us how to deal with that. But I want to know, first of all, do you have pets?
I have pets. We have 2 dogs and a cat.
Okay, so all right. Are these all acquired through the course of the relationship then, all 3?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens? You got 3 pets, you got a nasty breakup, that dick is out of your life. What happens with the pets?
Well, I don't know. If that ever did happen to me, we would probably share, have, it's funny to say this, but probably joint custody, and maybe one weekend I have the dogs and cat, and the next weekend he has the dogs and cat, and eventually they will pass on, and then that's the end.
Well, this took a turn. It went a little bit gruesome and dark there, but
well, it's true. They're not going to last forever. So, the dogs are old, so we would give them the best life. Try to give them the best life for however many years they have left, and like children, try to keep them not as involved.
What happens though if you have no contact whatsoever anymore? That you guys just decide we can't deal with each other, we can't see each other. That's it. Do you split up the pets? What do you do?
I would keep the pets.
Oh, you're making that call, are you?
I'm making that call. I would keep the pets. They're mine, and I would take him to the cleaners, and he would have no visitation rights and would be responsible for the vet bills.
I love it.
So, yeah.
We've got your husband on the other line right now. Is he there? No, he's not?
He's gone to bed.
Oh, he's already... Oh, okay. Oh, so you two don't even sleep together after 15 years. That's incredible. Let's talk about that.
He's waiting for me, actually.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Because I should point out to people that it is about 7:30 now as we're talking here. So you're right. It's an early night for the older folks. But well, I will let you. I'll let you get to it, Lisa. Thanks so much for calling in.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me share.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on the Scribble. Over the past few weeks, or I guess I don't know how long ago it was, we've been talking about dating, right? I mentioned about dating apps that people are using, and I actually went on like a 10-minute rant about relationships and things like that. So I've also told you about the people that I overheard at lunch that one time where the girl was talking about she got rid of one out of her roster of guys, and I was just like, is that really how you look at things? Are we really in the world where you actually treat a relationship like The Bachelorette? Are you actually thinking of dating as, I've got 10 to pick from, who's going to win? Seems like that's what people do these days. So, I had another discussion with somebody else about dating somebody that looks like them. She says, now again, she's single and she's one of those people who, I think if you're single and you're wanting a relationship, you really want a relationship and you tell people that. And it seems like there's more and more discussion now that people are having that I'm single and this is what I want. And maybe it was just girl talk that I happened to overhear. That could be what it was. Now, here's the deal. I don't get how she's straight, so she's wanting a guy. I don't get how you always go for guys that look like you. Are you saying you look like a man, or are you saying that they look like women? I didn't want to poke and prod. I didn't want to get that deep into it. But then I started asking around, and people are saying yes, that they go for people that look like them. This is amazing to me. I understand if I'm a guy and I'm looking for another guy and I want somebody to look like me, but even that's kind of creepy. Why would you want to be banging somebody that looks like you? If you want, you would pleasure yourself. I can't even bring myself to say the word masturbate on this show. There you are. If you want to have sex with yourself, you masturbate. You do it. But I don't get what that means. It's like, how are you're attracted to guys? So this is a woman. You're attracted to guys that look like you. Once again, it has nothing to do with the person themselves. Like, it's just, there's this shopping list of physical traits and features that people need to have, and there's very little focus on, well, he needs to have a job, he needs to be good with kids, he needs to like his mom, he's gotta have a dog and things like that, which again, maybe those are superficial things, some of them. But that's, I date guys that look like me. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like I said to my brother, who's a teacher, I wouldn't want to be growing up as a kid these days because it's different than when I was a kid. It's different. It's so strange. I haven't seen any of these dating apps before. I haven't used any of them. I mentioned that on the show. But it's like you can just spend hours and hours and hours just sorting through people, and they're not even people. They're not viewed as people. They're viewed as a profile or a page or a name on your screen is what they are. You gotta get out of that. You gotta take it off that and get in real life and meet them and do things like that. Nevertheless, anyway, the point of this story is that she dates guys that look like her. So she's attracted. Now, that makes sense then. She must be vain and superficial. She thinks that she is so attractive that she sees herself in these guys. There we go. I just made the connection right here on this show, live on the Scribble, everybody. She's that vain and self-centered and into herself that the guys need to look like her. There you go. There you go. Send me your thoughts. Email live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com, and we're also on Twitter @The Scribble Show.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com.
On the Twitter, that's right. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. So @The Scribble Show. And then my Twitter is @Jeremy D. Bradley. And people have difficulty spelling my name for some reason. Jeremy, the letter D, Bradley, Bradley. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address, though, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I would also say to fax me, but don't worry about it. It's okay. Again, the relationship chatter, how soon is too soon to move in with somebody? Like, you're shacking up with them. you're shacking up with them, and then when you break up, how do you just get rid of everything? Because I imagine there's stuff in every room of the house. I mentioned when we had that caller on that, like you can't get away from it. Like, what if you always grocery shopped at the same store? Do you just go to a different store now because you can't bear to walk up and down those aisles anymore? Like, I don't know. I find it fascinating. Again, live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. All right, I will talk to you same time, same place next week. And remember, we've got the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. That's at entertainmentwrapup.com. Entertainmentwrapup.com. And the latest celebrity guests that we've had on top of the charts and the open road, our syndicated radio shows, at speakfreecelebwatch.com. Speakfreecelebwatch.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,